Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So folks, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that is kind of a little bit interesting because for me, you guys have watched me, you guys have seen me, you guys know where I stand on most things when it comes to the Detroit Lions. And one of the things I have been, pretty clear about, pretty, enthusiastic about, been pretty vocal about is my unwavering, undying support for how Brad Holmes has built this team, how he's ran this team, and, just the job that he has done overall. Because let's be honest with ourselves, the job that Brad Holmes has done, the job that Dan Campbell has done, the job that Mike Disner has done, the job that, Chris Spielman has done, the job that, Sheila has done, they have done an immaculate, just wonderful job of transforming this Detroit Lions team. And they've done it very quickly by comparison to most teams over the course of NFL history. But they've also done it in a way that is both inspiring, but it's also not just a fleeting thing. It's a long-lasting, it is a solid foundation. Now, having said that, when we're taking a look at the upcoming 2025 season, everybody and their brother knows that the Lions have only realistically one acceptable outcome for that season, and that's for a Super Bowl win. That's what they're going for. That's their goal. Granted, it is a lofty goal, but the Lions are more than capable of achieving it. The Lions are a top 5 team overall. They have the best offense in football. They have a top 10 defense. And, a lot of people have said this. A lot of people have thought about this. There are questions, however. Because despite having those things, it doesn't mean that the Lions are in the best possible position that they could be this year to achieve a Super Bowl victory. Understand what I just said there. I'm saying the best possible position. They're still in a great position, but are they in the best possible position to do so? No, they are not. They undoubtedly are close to it, in my opinion. But currently, as things stand right now, and again, I'm not saying that this couldn't change. In fact, I'm hoping, praying, and almost certainly believing that it will change. But at the current moment, it looks like the Lions are taking a huge gamble by not addressing a crucial area of need. Now, what area of need is that? Everybody knows what it is. It's the pass rush, or more specifically, the pass rush opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, let me address that really quickly there. Have the Lions addressed that? Yes, they have. Contrary to what some people might want to say, the Lions have addressed it. Let's just call for what it is. They drafted, Ahmed Hazanin. I believe that guy is going to be a great player. I believe he's going to be a great addition, and I believe that with time, probably will become the guy opposite of Hutch. That's what I see him to be. I look at him and it's like, listen, he has all the intangibles. He has all of the production from college. He has the drive. He has the motor. He has the enthusiasm. He has everything that the Lions are looking for. He's just not there yet. He needs a little bit more time. He needs a little bit training. He needs to be, mentored and tutored up until he's actually ready to fully assume that role. But I have all faith and confidence that that's exactly what he's going to turn out to be. The Lions brought back, Marcus Davenport. I know for a lot of Lions fans, Marcus Davenport is not the guy that they want. They look at him and they're like, hey, This is a guy that throughout his entire career has never been able to stay fully healthy for a season. While he is healthy, he is a great player. But the problem is he's not consistently healthy, and we can't rely on him. But the Lions also have brought back, Muhammad. They also brought back Al-Quadin Muhammad, who again showed last year that when he played for us, he is also a pretty damn good edge rusher as well. So it's like, okay, the Lions do have edge rushers opposite or outside of Aiden Hutchinson. And let's understand something here. Muhammad did pretty damn well for us last year. Hazanin was one of the best edge rushers in college in this class. I'll be honest, the fact that he fell to the 6th round, as good as his production was in college, still astounds me. I consider that to probably be the steal of the draft for the Lions, and I believe that one's going to bear fruit much faster than just about any other pick that we have as far as the impact it will make. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Tate Ratledge. I'm not saying anything bad about Tyleik Williams. I'm just simply saying that, hey, as far as an impact standpoint is concerned, that one I think will have the biggest effect quicker than the other ones. But, again, regardless of what I feel about Hazanin, regardless what I feel about Muhammad, regardless what I think about Davenport, again, I know that there are many Lions fans. There are a lot of other podcasters. There are lots of national analysts. They all believe that the Lions still need to add another pass rusher opposite of Hutch to add, more to the defense. And again, you guys all know what I'm telling is the truth, because how many times when we go on freaking Google and we might type in what's up for the Detroit Lions, like Detroit Lions news, this, that, or the other thing, what is usually the first thing we will see? Some trade proposal where the Lions are going to trade for some guy that, has this many sacks or has that many sacks, or, hey, this guy that just got cut, whatever the case might be. That always seems to be one of the first bits of news, one of the first ideas that is put out every single day is, okay, what potential guy can the Lions bring in opposite of Aiden Hutchinson to further bolster their pass rush? And I'm going to say this. There's quite a lot of people that agree that is exactly what the Lions need to do. However, though, when it comes to most Lions fans, and I would also say to most local podcasters, the first name that always gets brought up is Za'Darius Smith. And again, the reason why is because, Za'Darius Smith has made his intentions abundantly clear. He wants to come back to Detroit. He wants to play in Detroit. The Lions, according to the podcasters, according to the fans, and virtually everybody else, say that there is a need. So it's like, okay, Za'Darius Smith played with the Lions last year. He had 4.5 sacks for the Lions, which was half of his sack production for 2024. So it's like, okay, this is a guy that last year was top 10 in pass rush win rate for the NFL out of all active pass rushers. It would seem to be a match made in heaven. And again, I believe that the Lions are eventually going to do this because, again, Brad Holmes has stated in the past that the Lions have expressed interest in bringing back Za'Darius Smith. Za'Darius Smith himself stated that he was going to sign a contract with the Lions soon. But again, until that happens, it remains to be seen, and we have to deal with what the reality of the situation is. And the reality of the situation is, quite frankly, that Za'Darius is not yet back. The Lions don't have him yet back in the fold. Do I believe he's going to come back? Yes, I do. But until that happens, we have to deal with the situation as it is, which is, okay, he's not currently here, which means opposite of Hutch, we have that trifecta that I just talked about, which is Hazanin, Davenport, and Muhammad. And there's obviously a couple other guys, but those are the primary three guys that everybody is going to be talking about opposite of Hutch until something changes. Now, I'm going to say this. I believe 100% that Hutch is going to come back with a vengeance. I believe that he is going to probably be the prime candidate for comeback player of the year because it's like, listen, you go back to what Hutch did last year. In 5 games, the guy had 7.5 sacks. Just think about that. 5 games, he had 7.5 sacks. If he were to able to, continue that kind of production going into 2025, just think about that. 7.5 sacks over 5 games. If you then triple that in terms of games to 15, 17 and 7.5 times 3, you're already at the 21 mark. You then multiply that half to a 1.5, you're now talking about 22 and a half sacks in 15 games. So, I'm telling you this right now. I believe Hutch is going to come back better than he was last year. I believe what Brad Holmes has said about Aiden Hutchinson is true, that he looks perfectly fine, he looks great, he looks good, and you know what? He's going to come back the exact same way that they are expecting him to come back. So, that's great, grand, and glorious. I'm not worried about Hutch, and I'm going to say this. Most people shouldn't be either. But again, that begs the question, what about opposite of Hutch? What happens if, again, big if, what happens if Za'Darius Smith is not brought back? Okay then. Now you look to Hazanin, Davenport, and Muhammad. Now, obviously, the top candidate out of those three would be Davenport because, well, one, he has the most experience. Two, the Lions directly brought him back for yet another go-around despite the injury. So it's like, okay, the Lions have expressed that they believe that there's something there. So it's like, okay, if we believe the reports, if we believe what we're hearing out of training camp, what we've heard out of OTAs and what we've heard from Brad Holmes and we've heard from Dan Campbell and everybody else, Davenport looks good. His body looks better than what it has in years. He looks more fit. He feels good. Okay. If we believe that, I would say that, okay, provided, of course, Davenport could stay healthy for the majority of the games, Davenport could be a at least moderately successful guy opposite of Hutchinson. Now, here comes the real big gamble kind of question is, okay, if you don't bring back Za'Darius, do you have Davenport as the full-time edge rusher opposite, and then you kind of rotate the other two guys in of Muhammad and Hazanin, or do you have a full-on rotation with Hazanin, Muhammad, Davenport, and Hutch? You just constantly keep rotating those guys. That's where that main question comes into place. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. If it was me, personally, I would do a full-on rotation because, one, it lessens the chance of injury, it keeps guys fresh, and it allows guys to continually develop, especially guys like Hazanin who need that development, who need that experience. And so, for me, the gamble here is like, okay, if you don't bring back Za'Darius Smith, which, again, there is a possibility of that, I believe it's a small one, but if you don't bring back Za'Darius Smith, okay, now you're in this situation, you're in this gamble of where, number one, you're hoping and praying that Davenport can stay healthy long enough or a majority of the season enough to where he can actually make an impact. Number two, you're hoping that Muhammad can replicate or come back to what he was able to do as far as the pass rusher last year, because like I said, if I recall the statistics correctly, he had a pass rush win rate of 13-14% last year, which that's pretty damn good. And then, again, my personal belief is this will happen, but you're also hoping that that Hazanin can, pick up speed really damn quickly and become, again, like what I'm expecting, an impact player for that defense sooner rather than later. That's a lot of hoping, that's a lot of praying, that's a whole lot of placing a lot of expectations on guys that, well, number one, have not proven themselves to stay healthy over the course of their career. Number two, is a rookie, which has a lot of, potentially has a lot of stuff that he could potentially do, but remains to be seen. And then you have a guy in Muhammad who it's like, okay, yeah, he had a pretty good year last year, but can he do it again? Whereas with Za'Darius, if you bring him back, it's like, okay, we already know what Za'Darius brings to us. This is a guy that has been one of the top 10, 15 edge rushers over the last couple of years. This is a guy that offensive lines, tackles, they take him very seriously because it's like, listen, if you don't, you're going to get burned. And if you bring back Za'Darius, it's like, okay, now you have two very damn good qualified edge rushers. One that is easily a top 3, top 5 in my opinion in Hutch. And then you have another guy in Za'Darius. Now you have two edge rushers that are going to provide that pinching motion. They're going to provide that pincer movement towards a quarterback, which then means, okay, now everything can start being more focused in the middle. Well, wait a minute here. What did Brad Holmes specifically state? He wanted to improve the middle. Well, the middle has been improved indefinitely over the last couple of years. DJ Reader, freaking Aleem McNeil. You freaking also just drafted Tyleek Williams. You have Jack Campbell. You have all these resources that you've pumped into the middle. Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Pascal. I mean, the list goes on and on. So for me, the fact of having the situation as it is right now, yeah, it's a gamble if it's to remain that way. And that's why for me, it has the potential of being a boom or bust situation, because it's like, listen, we all know that Brad Holmes wants to try and find the best possible deal to make things work. He's very smart with how he spends money. He's very smart about not just doling out cash like it's water. But at the same time, I also know that is a big reason why a lot of people have looked at him and said that he is a cheap individual. But you have to think about it here. Some of those cheaper contracts that Brad Holmes has doled out in the past, those have come back to pay huge dividends for us. So you can't necessarily state that Brad Holmes' process has been a bad one, because it has worked very well for the Lions over the last couple of years. So yeah, that's why it's a boom or bust potential, because it's like, okay, yeah, let's say you don't bring back za'darius, and now you're putting all your trust on those three guys that I just talked about, Hazanin, Muhammad, and Davenport. There's a lot of potential there for either a boom or a bust. Because like I've said, you're putting a lot of trust on an injury-prone player. You're placing a huge amount of trust and load on all of the current edge rushers that you have, including Hutch. Then on top of that, you're having huge expectation that Hazanin's going to be able to perform. And then again, you're also leaving little to no reserve in the event of injury. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong with that situation. But again, if it were to go right, you will have gotten a whole hell of a lot without having to spend a whole hell of a lot. That's why it's called a roll of the dice. That's why it's boom or bust, because it's like, okay, it depends on how it all plays out. You have to just be able to hope and pray like hell that, hey, if this is the game plan, if this is how you're going to roll with it, you'd better hope and pray it all plans out the way you want it to. So yeah, that's the current situation that we're in. But as I've also stated, it would be greatly alleviated, it would be greatly, made better if the Lions were to bring back za'darius, like, right now. And I still believe that they will. Because again, based upon everything that's been said and transpired in the past, it just makes sense for it to happen. But until it does happen, again, we're in the current situation, which means, okay, based upon the reality that we're in, we have to deal with that. As much as I would love to say, oh, you know what, za'darius is going to come back, and I have no doubt in my mind, and it'll happen on, whatever date. The problem is that's not the reality. And you know what? Reality is what pays the bills. Reality is what people deal with. Nobody deals with in fantasies or imagination or, wants. What they deal with is what actually is. So yes, I have faith that za'darius will be back. But until that happens, the whole point of this episode is to once again kind of recenter the focus on, okay, this is what actually is currently going on right now. And it's like, okay, I trust Brad Holmes. I have no reason to doubt him. But if this is how Brad Holmes is going to play it, he better hope and pray like hell that how he's put all this together actually works out for him. Because, again, boom or bust potential. That's what this kind of situation is shaping up to be if nothing changes. So again, hell of a lot of stuff that could potentially go wrong, hell of a lot of things that could go right. If you wanted to potentially take all the guesswork out of it, bringing back za'darius would be the quickest and easiest way to do that. But until then, that's where we're at. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to talk about this because, again, I know that a lot of people are very concerned about the whole thing. And again, I always want to try and bring my thoughts. I always want to try and bring updated thoughts and opinions about where I'm at. So, having said that, I hope you all enjoyed the content. I just want to say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If, in fact, you like the content, hopefully you guys subscribe to the channel, but also hopefully I'm able to get you to push that, that bell icon, so that way you guys will actually, never miss any more content that I push out. Hope the content was good for you. Hope that you guys, actually enjoyed it and you got something out of it. And with that, I just want to say, hope you all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.